Silent screams. At night in the asylum, legend has it that this abandoned asylum once housed the most dangerous and mentally unstable patients. The horrific events that took place behind closed doors turned the hospital into a source of terrifying stories among the locals. Years later, a group of young people in the city decided to investigate the truth behind the legend. For friends planned to visit the old asylum one night. They quietly entered the forbidden area at midnight and began exploring the dilapidated building. As they stepped inside, the dark corridors and decaying walls filled their souls with deep fear. As they progressed with their flashlights, they noticed traces left in the patient's cells, terrifying words and drawings etched into the walls. But the most eerie thing was the echoing silence with every step. When they reached a large door at the end of the corridor, strange rustling and whispers could be heard from inside. Gathering their courage, they opened the door and entered. This must have been the section where the most dangerous patients were held. The cell doors were rusted and almost broken down with age. Suddenly, a deep scream echoed down the corridor. The group huddled together in fear and looked around. The sound came from the cell opposite them. Gathering their courage, they approached the cell. When they looked inside, they saw nothing, just an empty cell and old, scattered files on the floor. However, an inscription carved into the wall caught their attention. "Don't leave me." At that moment, the door suddenly slammed shut, and the flashlights inside began to flicker. In a panic, they tried to open the door, but it seemed to be locked. The air in the room grew cold, and a shiver ran down their spines. They held their breath and slowly turned around as footsteps approached from behind. At the end of the corridor, a black silhouette appeared. The silhouette slowly moved toward them. One of them pointed the flashlight at the figure, but the light had no effect. As they took another step, the silhouette suddenly vanished, and the room plunged into complete darkness. After a moment of silence, a deafening scream filled the room, and the lights flickered back on. In the corner of the cell, a figure chained to a bed appeared. This figure, with eyes staring blankly into the void, instilled an indescribable fear in the group. This must have been the last patient of the asylum, someone who had lost their mind and was trapped here forever. With the door now open again, they fled the hospital. As they emerged outside, the weight and fear slowly dissipated, but nothing was ever the same. What they saw and experienced that night haunted them for the rest of their lives. The spirits of the asylum continued to follow them. After this incident, the hospital was once again sealed off and entry was forbidden. However, those who ventured close to the asylum night claimed they could still hear whispers and screams from inside. The silent screams continued to echo within the asylum's walls.